All right, everybody. Welcome to the Broadway to LA, the Actors Podcast. I'm Chad J. Willett, the host, and we have one objective here, make you a stronger actor. We have Mr. John Osbeck here in the house, producer, director, writer, actor. John, welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Oh,
Glad to be here.
Love. You and I already were riffing a little bit before. So
we had the podcast before the podcast.
Before the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll just go right into it. What you and I were talking about, John, before we dig deeper, down to the felt. Where's it at? What can we do to contribute? You know, just an incredible film. For people who don't know, incredible film production. Everything's shot in Columbus, in and around Columbus, Ohio production.
Yeah.
Where's it at? Love to hear about it.
Yeah. I mean,
distribution. All the good stuff.
Well, yeah. So it's out in the world now. So we released wide on every major platform on October 17th. So everywhere you buy your movies, you can find Down to the Felt. So, you know, Apple, YouTube, Amazon. We're on Fandango at home and Google Play, all the places.
We got it on Apple.
Yeah.
Yep.
We performed exactly how we wanted to on the opening weekend for it. And we'll wait to see as numbers come in, but it's been received really well. We've had some nice reviews for it, and yeah, it's great because it'll be in this phase now where it just continues to gain an audience, and the landscape for an independent film like this in distribution, it grows over that release period of time. So we'll eventually move into, it's available for rent and purchase right now. So It's in what's called the VOD window, and then it'll eventually go into a streaming window, and then eventually into like an ad-supported VOD. So your Tubies and things like that. But so we have a distributor, sales agent who's working on all those things.
Yeah.
Get updates, but it's real. I'm incredibly proud of it. I it's a Columbus movie through and through. Like you said, it's set in Columbus. We made it in Columbus. It was made by Columbus. You know, I think the only people that we brought in were the actors from the top of the call sheet. And other than that, I mean, everything is all Columbus.
So cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool. And you know, you just said actors, John. On that, one of my questions: what did you learn as a producer down to the felt, working with the actors, especially the Columbus-based actors, like broad strokes, you know, everyone listening, like good, bad, like what did they bring to the table that you liked? And maybe like, what were some things that you wish they did differently? Just, you don't have to say any names, but just when you're overseeing felt from your producer angle.
From a producer's angle, it was something that, well, I'm going to go back even further just from a writing aspect. So I wrote this script with Dino Tripodis and Ralph Scott.
Yep.
And when we were writing this, you know, we all have a history of knowing this acting community. I started off as an actor, and so I've been working in the acting community here, for over 20 years. So there's a lot of people that I know of, and a lot of actors that we were writing towards. We'd write a role and we think like, who here would be that role? And we think about it.
Wow.
It really helps to, and I do this also with the larger roles in thinking about like what major actors would be in that role.
Did you cast the actors that you had in your mind?
So yeah, there were a couple that we absolutely had in mind that we kept. And probably the most notable one is Tim Browning as the rabbi. So Tim actually came in and he worked with us when we did our sizzle reel early on, a concept reel that helped us to make the pitch for the investors. And he was always my go-to for that rabbi role.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. And there was only a couple of times where we thought we might end up getting a name actor. And I would constantly have these little conversations with Tim saying, like, dude, the role is yours. Unless X person who I'm not going to mention, because there were two people who we were actually almost in talks with to do that role, and it was kind of one of those things, you know, for me as a I guess say a regional actor, I would have loved to have been in that same position. I've also been in that position on larger films through my agent, where it's like, okay, you're pinned for this unless they find somebody else, and then when you find out who it goes to, you're like, okay, well, I mean, that role went to so and so. Like I was in that same space. But no, it was Tim all the way through through the end. So from a producing side, it also made it doable for the movie to know that we had this bank of talent of really solid actors in Central Ohio to be able to say, okay, we can fill out the rest of that call sheet. We can fill out all of these day player roles. We know that we can get really great actors, even if they're going to be one-liners or even if they're going to be background actors, because just as important in background acting is to make sure that somebody is not standing out as like the crazy background actor that's going to show up in like some Instagram reel, right? Like, look what this actor was doing in the background. What movie were they in? So as a producer, and I guess I just say as a producer director, it made that part of it very easy, knowing that we had this really great bank of talent here in Central Ohio.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Staying on Felt, one thing you would have done differently? Is there anything looking back, just for where you are now up to distribution? Is there one thing that sticks out to you?
There's a lot of things that stick out. But stick out in the sense that I've taken them as what to do differently next time. A lot of that, when it comes to the acting side of it, and maybe working with the actors, just as the circumstances were set for Down to the Felt, we did not have a lot of rehearsal time. And as much as I am a theater actor at heart, and that's my first true love.
Theater.
Is acting for the stage. And the thing I love about that is that rehearsal process that you get and that discovery. We didn't have that luxury with Down to the Felt. Something that I would absolutely do differently, if I possibly can, is to have that time before you go into production to have rehearsals. To even have a full table read with the final cast that you have. You
would have had more rehearsal time.
I would love to have more rehearsal time and to have those kind of table reads and those times to discover and do that before we get into it, where instead of doing it on the day, which is just kind of how you have to be able to operate as an independent producer director, because that's often the circumstances that you have.
Yeah.
But to have that would be something that I would love to do differently next time.
For the actors listening, on that note, I read somewhere in one of the books, Aaron Spice or Howard Fiennes, one of their books, they were saying, you're hiring the actor to show up and be ready, just period. Whether they have 3 rehearsals, 1 rehearsal, 1 table read, would you, as a producer, you agree with that? And all the actors listening, like, that's their job. That's what you're hiring. Like, they show up, lines memorized, characters, choices made, boom, let's go.
Yes, 100%.
You're hiring them for their preparation.
Yes. And speaking to what we just talked about, it's because you often don't have that time. But I would also say and I think about it from the acting side as well. And I think this kind of shifted how I've approached auditions and callbacks, is that trusting of yourself. And when you get to the callback, like what you've done in the audition has got you that callback. As a director, and specifically, we'll just take Down to the Felt as the example. When I was looking at actors who had submitted and then was calling them back, because I saw something that they did. To have an actor come in and totally kind of change something and do a different choice than what was being done in the audition, the callback, and I guess I'm speaking a lot to like a day player who's going to show up, and you never really have that time to do a rehearsal or to have a conversation with them beforehand, other than what you've done at the audition or callback if it's been in person. And sometimes it's just been that I've picked it from their video submission, right? And so what I'm seeing is they fit in perfectly. Like what they did for that character, for that role, that's it. And so I guess what I would say to the actor is trust that. So when you're getting called in and you haven't had a session with the director or the producers and they've basically said, yeah, they love what you did. Okay, here's your call day, and all this. Show up, know what you did, but be ready to be directed.
Yep.
Be ready to do that. Have a choice if you're given the opportunity. But if you're not, don't think that that's any kind of commentary on you as an actor or your performance or your skill level. Just know that, like, in the grander scheme of things, there are so many different things that are working at the same time, so many different moving parts in a production, that having that reliability of an actor who's coming in, going to do their thing, they're going to nail it, they're going to be prepared, they're going to, know your lines, right?
Yeah.
Be on time, be nice, be kind, and execute, that's what I'm looking for, because I mean, it's the time is money kind of thing. We don't have, but then if there's a chance for discovery and if there's that opportunity, be ready for it.
Yep.
That's what I would say.
That's great advice. It's really good advice. You told me, I don't know if you remember, John, you told me a while back when you and I were hanging out, I was picking your brain about actors in the audition room and all that, and all the actors listening. And I said, what's the one things that comes to your mind for actors when you're seeing them audition? And you had one word for me. I love it. And I'd love if you can expand on it. You said confident. You said that actor, like you said, stay on down to the felt theme, that actor that came in, auditioned for a role, and yet that word, it's always stuck in my head. You said confident. Whether he or she made that choice, whether it was right or wrong, or you changed it, right, or the director changed, just their confidence.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And I don't know if you can expand on that.
Yeah. And I think that, confidence for an actor comes from preparedness. And the confidence in yourself of making a choice. So yeah, it's all those things that you said it very well. I mean, I don't know if I would change anything about what you said. It's absolutely that. And I think also a confidence in self, as far as ability, so that like even in a callback or an audition situation where a director gives you that direction. Yeah, there's a couple of things, like we all know that sometimes in an audition or a callback, that director is going to see if you're directable. So they're going to give you a note, maybe see if you can make a change on something, right? And it's not because necessarily the thing that the actor did wasn't what I was looking for as a director. I just want to see if they can be directable.
Yep.
Meaning, can they take a note? Can they change? Or are they just stuck in their head with one way of doing something? So I think that confidence kind of bridges a little bit to being flexible, but like having that confidence coming in and owning that room and owning that decision, that choice that you're going to make and doing it, I mean, it speaks underneath everything else. It's just this little layer of something.
The confidence. What would be mistakes? Anything that comes to your mind is for the listeners, like mistakes actors made in the audition room. It could be anything, like how they dressed, right? Didn't know their lines, weren't directable. Anything like stick out to you, like mistakes that they made and our listeners, could think about? Yeah,
I mean, those are the big ones. I mean, like knowing the script, right? I mean, knowing the lines, knowing the character. I think, I'm personally, I'm not looking for somebody who needs to be method and come in and like from the moment they come into the room. I want to see what their personality is as a person first. And that gives me usually a good read on, and I keep on coming back to like, is this person nice and kind? I mean, there's so much that we have to do to get on set in whatever position you are in the creative process, producer, director, actor, whatever. There's so much that you have to do to get on set and to get the thing made and to be there doing the actual thing, that filling that with good, kind people, it's really important to me. So getting a good read on who the person is, and I'm going to bring this back. So I'm not so much looking for somebody who's going to come in as the character completely when they greet me and they're like already in character. I like to see what they are. Maybe that happens at the end, but I like to see what the person themselves is like. And sometimes their performance mirrors who the person is and it's right for the role. Sometimes it's getting into a character. But I think probably the biggest mistake is not knowing the script.
The material.
Is not knowing the material.
Yep. Prepare.
I don't mind. I'm not a word perfect type of person. In a sense that I like to see people make it their own. It's, if there's a contraction that's not in the script and somebody is like, I am doing this or I'm doing this. I want somebody to make it their own that way as well. But I think not knowing the material, that's got to be the biggest
That's
thing.
Number one.
That's number one.
It's really interesting, John. If you meet an actor, John meets Bob before Bob auditions for Felt, let's say, right? And Bob's meeting you, he's charismatic, he's outgoing, you think he's a kind, nice person, right? And then he goes to the audition, you start rolling the film, and you see him just do this flip. Like, he's playing this assassin, this killer, right? Whatever he is. Does that stick out in your mind even? I've never even thought about that until you said that. As a producer or director, does that stick out in your mind more?
It does.
Like, yeah, he's nice. He's kind of, he's this great, or woman, great person. And then boom, they flip a switch and just, they're psychotic. They're the killer. They're the assassin.
No, 100%. And I've heard this from some acting coaches as well. Sometimes the slate, when you're doing a video submission, the slate is your opportunity to kind of show who you are, who John is as a person. So it's like, hey, I'm John Osbeck. I'm with so-and-so, and I'm auditioning for this role. That kind of, it's a chance for you to put a little bit of your personality into it, and then see, then it's like, whatever it is.
Whatever the role.
100%. I think the other really interesting thing that happens sometimes as a producer and a director is if people don't know who you are in relation to the project, and you're walking through the room and you're seeing how people are just acting outside of the room as people, right?
Yep.
As their individual selves. That's also a big read. So, I think it's also maybe a little bit of a tip to say, your audition starts the moment that you're in the place. It's not the moment that you're in front of the camera. Your audition is also about like who you are as a person. And so being in that waiting room also says a lot, because you never know who is watching you, and how that is going to affect it as well.
That's awesome.
And seeing how people treat other people.
Yeah. That's great. No, that's great. If we jump forward, you're on the set of Felt. You guys are filming. You're over here in German Village, right where we are, right? Or wherever
we really,
you're literally
we're all over here.
You're literally right over here.
Yeah.
How can actors, so let's say you're filming over here at Brown Bag or wherever, Delhi, wherever you guys are, and let's say, John, an actor's on set. He's a beginning actor, he or she, they're new, and they know you're the producer and the director's there. What would your advice be to them? Like, let's say you're actually filming, right? Stay out, I've heard everything, right? Stay out of the way. Just don't do anything. Don't make a scene. Just be in your little corner until you're called. Or kind of like you're saying, or you're in between takes. Does an actor, John or Sue or whoever come up to you and introduce themselves? Hey, where are you on the pendulum? Or just let it be natural and organic? Like stay out of the way completely, or, try to make a relationship during?
No, it's a great question. And, for me personally, and I think this comes back to there's so much that's happening on a set. And as a director, I sometimes boil directing down to it is kind of like disaster and chaos management on a minute-to-minute basis, and personality management. It's like those two things are like what you get paid for as a director. And then there's like performance and scene and all that other stuff afterwards. But it's all surrounding that. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. For me, I've got so many things that I'm thinking about and trying to be in the moment for a scene when I'm directing a scene, and be there for the actors and be there for the moment and be there for the scene, for the movie. I appreciate it when people are staying within their boundaries.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I guess it's a little bit towards what you're saying of let it be organic, in that if the opportunity is there, but you got to be able to like read the room.
Yep.
And I know that as an actor, when I've been on sets, a great maybe analogy or story to this is I was on the set of The Public, which was directed by Emilio Estevez, was shot down in Cincinnati, and I had a few days on that film.
That's awesome.
And I was sharing scenes with Jeffrey Wright, Alec Baldwin, Christian Slater, and being directed by Emilio. And in between, there was a shift in the camera angle, so my character came out of the room, and we were just kind of like in this little holding area outside of the room we were filming in, and the video village was right there. And I had only really interacted with Emilio in the scene and a little bit outside of that, but also actually at the callback. So there was a little bit of a working relationship established.
Yep.
But as much as an actor that I wanted to like look at Video Village and kind of the other filmmaker side of me, I just hung back and when the opportunity came up that Emilio would come by, if he engaged in conversation, then I was ready. And at a certain point, he was like, "Hey, John, why don't you come over here and look at Video Village and see what's going on?" Because we had a chance to talk also about me being a director and a filmmaker very quickly, and that happened actually in the callback initially, and he remembered that. So that kind of organically happened. But otherwise, I'm going to go where the people are going to tell me to be. You know, if the second AD or the first AD is telling me, okay, all right, go back to holding, I'm not going to linger around somewhere and hopefully have that like chance to meet and talk. If it happens organically, it happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
You did. No, absolutely. That's great. It's a great answer.
But
if they tell you
again,
to go to the dressing room, you go to the dressing room.
Yeah.
If they tell you to go, whatever.
And again,
Crap,
I think
you go to
it
lunch.
just comes back to being professional and knowing where you are in the scheme of things. Like I knew where I was. I was basically a glorified day player role.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not high on the call sheet. My number has 2 digits on the call sheet. I get it.
Right.
I'm there for the experience. I think the other thing that I would add on to it is that while you're doing that as an actor, you may not get that opportunity to talk with the producer or the director. But watch, be aware of everything, take everything in, see how the departments are acting, you know, see how things move on a set. I think it's only going to help you the next time you're going to be on set to know where you fit in and where the opportunities are to find something organic. And maybe it's at lunch, maybe it's at the meal that you get a chance to maybe sit close to where the director and the producers are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. I think it's a great answer. It's a really good answer. Couple last questions. I'll backtrack for a second. So actors that submit to you, whether it's Feld or any project you're working on, I know you have a lot of projects. How much weight do you put on their demo reel, headshots, and resume?
Great question.
And what if an actor didn't have a demo reel, but they sent a headshot and a resume?
Yeah, and I was just going to say, demo reel is probably the lowest of the priorities for me.
Really? Headshot number one?
Yeah, headshot number one. Headshot is, for me, absolutely
I'm surprised.
the first place.
Okay.
And I think this is also something that I had to come to as an actor as well. And I think it helped when I started moving into the filmmaking side of things, onto the other side of the camera, is that I started to understand and have an appreciation that no matter what I did as an actor in an audition, I think there's always going to be some level of the director, and especially if it's a director-writer, that, and I do this as a director-writer, is that I have an idea in my head of what that character looks like, acts like. And that's why I wrote the character that way. And as actor John Osbeck, when I'm going into something, I think now a way that I let myself down easily, right? When you don't get when you don't hear anything, right? And then it's like, okay, they're filming next week. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not on this one.
I'm not on that one.
Right?
Yep.
I think something that has helped me is that sometimes no matter what you do as an actor, you can make the best bold choice. You can make something else. If a director has something in their mind about the way someone looks and you just don't fit that. And it also comes down to us having to sometimes as actors say our height. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's the difference between you and another actor maybe having 2 great auditions. But because the actor needs to be like 6 foot or something, or has to fit a certain kind of physicality, or if there's something to that, or it could even be just something that's in the director's mind, which comes back to, I think, that confidence in the room as an actor. I'm going to commit to a choice, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to know that I'm going to leave everything in that audition room so that I can walk out of there and say, look, either they're going to, and there have been times where you do a choice and that shifts a director or a producer's thought about what that character could be or what they were looking for, or they add something to it. It's like, I never saw that before.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if you can just walk out of it with that confidence and know that you're doing something, that to me is going to make a bigger impression to me. So I would say headshot for me first.
Headshot one.
Yeah. And I think it's a little bit of a twofold kind of thing. One, I want to see that an actor is kind of taking that a little bit seriously, so they're going to do something in a professional setting for a headshot. I mean, it's like an investment in themselves. Yeah. That they're taking that part of it seriously. Resume is second. I don't mind if people don't have a huge resume, and actually, if it's a smaller resume because they don't have a lot of things, I don't want to see a resume that's like pumped up and has like theater from high school and all these other things. Like, mention it. I don't know. So I guess it goes headshot, resume, demo reel for me.
I thought I wrote, why demo reel third? I'm just curious for you.
Because I don't always have the time to go and look at the demo reel for like, especially if I have, let's say I've got 8 day player roles, and then that means I'm looking at maybe 3 people for each role. So that's 24 different demo reels that I got to go look at.
You got to watch. Wow.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at a headshot. I'm going to say, okay, this is in the range of what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to ask for the audition, right? Either they're going to come in or I'm going to get a video. I'd rather see what they do with the role.
That's great. Very valuable.
The other part of it
really
is
good.
sometimes I'll get a suggestion from a casting director or from an agent to say, hey, you didn't have this person selected for, but I think you want to see this person for this role. I think they'd be good for it. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to listen to that agent or that casting director and listen to them. But for the most part, I'm going through a look first.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I guess I'd follow that back up with, again, don't take it personally. Sometimes it is a look and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Your image in your mind, how you see it.
Yeah.
Yep. 2 last questions, John. One, if you could give one word for your whole Down to the Felt experience, one word from start to finish, to where you are right now, to where you, Dino, and Ralph wrote this, like from the beginning to now. And from the producer angle, I know you wear a lot of different hats, but yeah, is there one, if you could boil it down to one word, like what the experience has been like, very few of us are going to ever sit in your shoes, for what you did and what you brought to the community. But yeah, is there one word that would encapsulate this experience with Down to the Felt?
I think what I feel now, and I'd probably give you a different word, maybe in different phases of it, but right now I just feel pride. And it's not a singular type of pride. It's a pride about the project and about the people involved in this city, really, that showed up, this community that showed up of talented actors and technicians and the community and the investors that we had, the belief that we were given to make this thing and how we executed it and what is now out in the world. I'm incredibly proud. And I hope, and I do believe that everybody should feel really proud about what we've done. So that's probably the first word that comes up right now. I couldn't be more proud of the team that we put together and how they executed. Everybody.
That's awesome. And I saw your post on LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, and you always reiterate, and that's genuine. That's.
I mean, it doesn't
awesome.
happen in a vacuum for sure. There's so many people
involved. Yeah.
So many. Yeah.
Last question: 3 to 5 years from now, say 3 years from now, 2028.
Okay.
Where is John Osbeck, and what is John doing 3 years from now, 2028? Roughly in your mind,
yeah,
where would you like to be?
No,
or what would you like to be working on?
I am here in Columbus. I'm not going anywhere. And part of what Down to the Felt was to show not only this community but the larger filmmaking community that Columbus is a viable place and can be an independent film production hub that is sustainable and profitable. So I've really geared the next 5 to 10 years in a plan to put Columbus even further on the map as far as the filmmaking industry and filmmaking hub. So in 2028, I am here. By 2028, I hope that we're on maybe our second or third next feature. And I'm here writing, directing, producing, maybe acting, but I really feel that the producing and the directing is where I'll be, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here.
You're staying here.
Yeah. No, there's way too many. Again, there's way too much talent, and Columbus is such a ripe market to have this happen. And I really think we're on the precipice of Columbus, Central Ohio, becoming a real player in the independent film world. And yeah, so that's where I am.
It's awesome. My friend, thanks for all you do.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I love it.
You had some good questions in there. I wasn't expecting, so it's good.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Broadway to LA, the Actors Podcast. I'm Chad J. Willett. We will see you next month. And again, Thank you, John.
Thanks, Chad.